want to make something really clear here. Donald Trump, without the approval of the American people, without the approval of Congress, attacked Iran today. Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu attacked Iran today. I put out a video a little bit ago and it's entitled, "Are We the Axis of Evil?" And maybe I should rethink that title, because it's not us, the American people, who are warmongering. It's Donald Trump. And it's Republicans in Congress who are either actively supporting Donald Trump warmongering abroad, wanting to send your sons into a land war, a war of aggression in Iran, or they are choosing not to exercise their power because they're chicken shit cowards. Either way, Republicans in Congress could have stopped all of this madness, all of this nightmare. They are choosing not to constrain an out-of-control executive. They're consciously choosing to do that. Now, earlier today, Senator Tammy Duckworth called on all Republicans to join her in a war powers resolution constraining Donald Trump as he wants to send our troops, our sons and daughters, into war in Iran. A needless, pointless war of aggression. I think it was in Reuters this morning where they were saying, like, Americans woke up wondering, fuck we're doing? Like, why is it that we're starting this war? Most Americans are not on board with this, don't see the point of it. I'll tell you what the point of it is, though. Actually, you know what? Let me let Rachel Maddow give you her initial impression. I was really grateful that I saw this after I posted my video. I love it when, like, Rachel and I love it when my perspective aligns with Rachel's. And not just Rachel's, I actually want to show you Tim Snyder in just a second, but let's start with Rachel.
So why is it? Maybe it's for oil, as the president daydreams himself into another 19th century war fantasy of conquering some foreign land he doesn't understand or care about, but he would like to rob them of their natural resources. Maybe he thinks Iran and its proud 92 million people will happily and easily become a new colony in an empire helmed by an American emperor. Maybe that's what he thinks. But as this now becomes the 7th country Trump has bombed just since being back in office for 1 year, cui bono? Who benefits?
That's what I'm always asking.
Seems like a disturbingly easy question to answer.
Who benefits?
Why has the U.S. government been pushed in this direction? Follow the money. Why is Donald Trump willing to let that happen? Well, with this president, sadly, we keep learning over and over and over again that the easiest answer is almost always the truest one. He does not play four-dimensional chess.
Nope.
There's just him and what we know he's like, right? This president appears to have grown his enormous and excitable new appetite for military intervention in just this 1 year back in office. Apparently because he just thinks war is easy. It's exciting. It earns him not only close attention, but even occasionally plaudits from the very serious people who are professionally inclined to believe that there's some rationale, some strategery, some good thinking behind the start of every war, particularly in the Middle East. Starting a war, launching airstrikes, doing this sort of thing, it gets him a ton of attention. He gets to do it unilaterally, he contends. Naturally, there's no question that he would seek a declaration of war from Congress or even an authorization for the use of military force. He sees war as something he gets to do on his own say-so in a baseball hat from home that is exciting, that is controversial, that is all about him, and not for nothing, it's the world's greatest change of subject.
Rachel's right on all accounts. It's always follow the money, right? Who benefits, right? Oh, didn't we just hear that OpenAI signed a giant contract with the U.S. government? Who benefits? Fucking Grok, fucking billionaire technocrat bros who have all of their Palantir, who have their defense contracts. Who benefits from the war machine? Folks who are listed in the Epstein files. It's always follow the money. Likewise, it's always about distracting you from the Epstein files. There is nothing Donald Trump is more scared of. Well, there's two things he's really scared of. One is the truth being released about the Epstein files and there being an active pursuit of justice for Jeffrey Epstein's victims against the men who committed horrific crimes, assaulting and trafficking women, boys, and girls. And he's also really fucking scared of the midterms, right? Anything that's going to send Donald Trump to prison for all of the crimes he has committed in the past and currently, he's really scared of that. And so we have to understand, yep, it's absolutely about the profiteering of the war machine. It's absolutely about big capitalism. It's absolutely about the kleptocracy. It's absolutely about all of these AI tech companies that cannot be profitable at all unless they have giant defense contracts. More on that tomorrow. I'm going to talk about that more tomorrow. But it's also about being a really effective distraction and an excuse for him advancing his authoritarian agenda, trying to scare the American people into submission. By the way, none of us will be scared into submission. Every action that this regime takes, every action that Donald Trump undertakes in an attempt to scare the shit out of us and to get us to lay down and give up, no, it backfires spectacularly. We, the American people, are more resolved than ever. We don't want little girls in elementary schools in Iran to be bombed in our name. We don't want an ethnic cleansing done in our name. We don't want billions of our taxpayer dollars going to commit crimes against the American people, to wage war against American citizens, to wage war abroad. We don't want that. Okay, so I promised you a clip from Tim Snyder. I want to add this to this conversation because he very much is saying a lot of the same things that I've been saying, that Rachel has been saying.
Why start a war with Iran? Short answer would be domestic politics. If you have a conflict abroad, you can use that as a pretext for saying, I'm afraid of terrorism, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of that, and therefore we have to have exceptional measures at home in domestic politics. We have to restrain the elections, make them harder, et cetera, et cetera. This is just one of the oldest tricks in the book. It's one of the ways that democracy has been subverted from the beginning of democracy. There is no justification for falling for this. On the contrary, there is every justification for turning this around. Someone who starts a war in order to manipulate or undermine democracy is someone who should not be anywhere close to power, and his associates shouldn't be anywhere close to power, and the people who support this kind of maneuver shouldn't be anywhere close to power. It's one more reason to rally around our elections. It's one more reason to vote. It's one more reason to make sure this kind of thing doesn't happen again.
Yep, Tim is absolutely right, just like Rachel was right. I think people often give Donald Trump too much credit. When malignant narcissists are known quantities, their behavior is really predictable. And we often want to give him more intellectual prowess, more sophistication than he actually has. He wants to subvert the elections. He wants to maintain power and control. He wants to grift. He wants to inflict cruelty. Get his petty vengeance, right? He's all about grievance. He's all about the grift. He's all about making sure that he never faces justice. And we can add in a little sprinkle of kissing up to Bibi Netanyahu and Vladimir Putin as well. I think it's really important that we understand that there's not some magical 4D chess. Just like I said, like Chuck Schumer is not playing some magical 4D chess. Establishment Democrats aren't. Neither is Donald Trump. He's doing the kind of very predictable things tyrants do. Malignant narcissists do, would-be dictators do. And Tim is absolutely right. Absolutely right. We've got to see through this, right? We're not going to be fooled into giving up our elections. I made a video, was it just yesterday, talking about how Donald Trump is flirting with, or MAGA lawyers are putting in front of him this executive order where he's going to try and claim that he can declare a national emergency and seize control of our elections. Super fucking predictable. This is what tyrants do. They don't want free and fair elections. They are scared shitless of democracy, because then the American people will hold Donald Trump and his regime accountable, right? So what's happening now? Like, obviously, we know what's going on. Let's not pretend there's something else happening here. The Epstein class is desperate to stay in power. That is what is happening here. They're desperate to profit off of war, off of cruelty, off of death. They want as many of our tax dollars as possible in order to enrich themselves. They're already obscenely rich. They are voracious. There is never a line at which it's enough for them. They are never satiated. Just like Donald Trump, a malignant narcissist will never be satiated. Fascists don't stop unless you stop them. They keep escalating and escalating. And we are in this extinction burst period where they are terrified of the Epstein files being broken wide open, of the American people demanding justice. They're terrified of us all turning out and voting them out of office and then prosecuting them. The billionaires are terrified of reforms taxing the rich, constraining their out-of-control greed and power. That's what this war in Iran is about. That's what Donald Trump's actions today are about. I'm going to leave you with a clip of his post this morning. I'm putting it at the end of the video, so you don't have to watch it if you don't want to. But I want to make something very clear here. None of this has been done in the name of the American people. The American people do not want this. This is being done for Donald Trump on his own. This is being done for the billionaires. This is being done for the Epstein class.
the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels in international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal, something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular, my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again. They can never have a nuclear weapon. That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication. My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way, and we trust that, with his help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest in the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or, in the alternative, face certain death. So, lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death. Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all. Thank you.